Okay, let's get started. So in today's lecture, I'm going to cover how to use Visual Studio Code and how to use Git. So we're going to maybe lecture for 30-40 minutes, and then we leave 10-15 minutes for you to practice. So make sure that now, based on the lecture last week, on Monday, you should know how to create a conda environment and how to install packages. Okay, so if you have not done so, we will use the remaining 10-15 minutes to practice, and also make sure that you know how to use Visual Studio Code to connect to the conda environment that we created, and then you can start doing coding. So this is very important, so make sure that you are super familiar with the steps. Okay, and then on Friday I want to talk about basics, Python basics and some Jupyter notebooks. But today's book is just to set up all the environments. So those are the three software that you need to be familiar. So Conda, Mini Conda, or Anaconda, whatever. And then Visual Studio Code. So you want to use Visual Studio Code a lot. And you can also use Jupyter Lab. We will cover that on Friday. And then Git. Okay. So those are the three things you need to be familiar if you really want to learn coding, and also how to use some of the stuff on GitHub. So if you find something you think is interesting, you want to try it out, if you have these three tools, you can do it. Okay. Otherwise, you might have a hard time trying to, where do I get started? How to actually do that? Okay. So here, the second one we're going to install is Visual Studio Code, and all the lab computers should already have Visual Studio Code. So if you don't, you can just click download, and then it should download this one to your computer. I already have it. And I would recommend you install Visual Studio Code first and then Git, because when you install Git, you need to choose a editor. Choose an editor. So if you already have Visual Studio Code, you can choose that. So it's much easier. And then it should be pretty straightforward. So all you need, just double click and then just accept all the default settings. You should be able to install that one Visual Studio Code to your computer. So let me try if I can do that. I already installed, so sometimes the installation dialog will be different, but it should be pretty much similar. So okay, so accept the agreement, next. And here, if you want, you can add open with code actions. So these are default settings. What this one Luis is doing is you can right click and then open Visual Studio Code, so that you don't have to open the software first. For example, if I come somewhere here, they say I have something in here, so I can just right click and you will see this option, open with code. So next time, if you go into the directory that contains Python script or Jupyter notebook, you can just right click and then you can open it. Okay. So for example, here I can just maybe create a new file just to show you what it looks like. So here, maybe a notebook, txt file, or it can be just a Python file. So I can say, for example, test.py, right? And click yes. So this is a Python file right now. So I can just right click here and then open with code. Then it's open Visual Studio Code after install. So in that way, you don't have to open the software first. And then I can just come here. I can click. Now it's empty, so there's nothing there yet. Okay. So this is the shortcut. You can open a folder or you can open a file. If you check these settings, again, just set the default settings. You should be fine. And next, okay, and then just install. That's it. So it's the only like 2 to 3 clicks. So after install the software, then you should find this one somewhere here, or you can just do the search here, VS Code. You should be able to find it. So Visual Studio Code, that's it. And this is right now the most popular IDE. So you can use to do many coding in any languages. And think about this one just like a notepad. Okay, you can use to read text, you can use to read file, but you can also use to do programming, and you can run code, you can execute code. It's a very small compact software, but it's very popular. And you don't have to use it for coding. You can use it as a text editor, and it has auto completion, it has all kind of features. So it's a very nice one, and it supports across platforms. So you can use on Windows, Linux, or you can use a Mac computer. So try to use this one. There's not like a lot of things you need to learn. So most of the daily routines we pretty much similar. Open the file and then you can create a file. You can open, you can execute, you can run. So we cover more in the following weeks. But for now, just install it, okay? And then you know how to open it. Then you should be good to go. So the last one we want to install is Git. Okay, so you again you just open the link and then come here. So select the operating system for you, and then you can, like I said, mostly nowadays, you can install just the 64-bit. So if you click, and then you download this one to your computer. Did I have it somewhere? 2.64-bit. Yeah, it's already there. And then just double click, open the installer here. And there's only one step that you need to change is to select Visual Studio Code as the editor. And okay, so again, just look at the default settings. In here, yeah, you can set the default one. Next, and then next. Oops, it's installing anyway. Looks like that option is gone, so then you don't have to worry about that. This is more like a command line program, so you don't. But most of the time, you don't need to use this. Everything is integrated within Visual Studio Code. So moving forward, you don't need to open Git. You don't need to open Anaconda or Miniconda. Everything can be done just within Visual Studio Code. So you don't have to switch between software. So Git will be able to read the Visual Studio Code. Will be able to read your Git installation. Then you can just clone repo from Visual Studio Code. You can also push changes to GitHub using Visual Studio Code. I will show you more examples later. Right now, it's probably too much. If you have not heard about Git or you have not used this before, it's perfectly fine. So just kind of a brief intro to Git is think about it as a version control system. So without this, how do you actually back up your file? How do you back up your file on your computer? Save the hard drive. So how do you save? For example, I'm working on this version 1, and now you make some changes, send it to your people on the same working on the same project, and then you make changes, and then come back. You can either overwrite, or maybe you save version 1.1, version 1.2, and then you like version final. Okay, and then send to make changes, version final dot final, or final dot final dot. Okay, really final. Right? I'm sure you have done it before. So this is how it actually works. I mean, in the past, and then you create multiple copies on your file on your computer, and it gets messy when you have a lot of files need to manage. So Git, you don't have to worry about that. It's still the same file, but it keeps track all the history, and you can revert it back to any version you like. So you keep tracks everything, especially for source code. But certainly, Git is not for backing up the whole system. It's not good for backing up binary files. It's mostly good for source code because you can see what kind of things have changed, who actually make the changes, and if something goes wrong, you can always go back. Okay, so this is more like a secure, and it allows people to work together on the same project. So you can have thousands of people, hundreds of people working on the same project. Of course, there's going to be some conflict. Kind of like if you use Google Docs, right? And then you can share a file with everyone, and then they can all make changes, and you see the history. So you can always go back to see actually who make the changes. But Google Docs is much easier than using Git because everyone is editing the same file at the same time. But Git is not. Okay, so I can, for example, right now, I give this file to each of you. Right, you're making some changes, and then you send it back, and there suddenly will be like some conflict. Some people delete this line, some people add another line. Some people make some changes to a certain words. Eventually, it's going to be a mess. You cannot really merge if you're working with a lot of people. But Git somehow can help you facilitate the collaboration. So you can have for especially for the tech companies, right? Think about that. For operating system, for example, Windows, it's huge. How do you make sure that everyone working on the same source code base? Eventually, you're going to merge all together and then compile and then make it kind of a system. So this is something uh, in the tech industry, you need to know Git, or there's some like internal version control system that's doing that, but the concepts are all the same. It's allow you to control the version, have the history for all the versions, and you know who made the changes, what kind of things were changed, and with this, then you can easily get source code from GitHub, and you can go to see, inspect the every details about a specific package. Okay, so and with that being done, now I can open Visual Studio Code again, just to show you how you actually do coding. And here, if you open Visual Studio Code, then on the left side here, lower left, right now you see it's like spinning, activating extensions, and click this icon here. I'm not sure if you can see it at the lower left corner. You need to probably open the folder or directory first before you can see that. And over here, what I'm trying to show you is that you have the terminal. So if you click this one, it should pop up something like this. And there's one called terminal. Your interface might look a bit different than mine, but can you see this one, the terminal? It might take a couple seconds to load up, but this is where essentially you can use Honda prompt, Mamba, everything in here. So now I don't have to manually go to my start menu to open the command prompt. Basically, this is everything integrated in here, so you don't have to. You see, it's even automatically activated. So for you, if it's not like this, I will show you how to set it up. But for now, just showing you, this is the integrated terminal within Visual Studio Code. So you can type, for example, I can type ls. I can see, basically you can run any command in here that you can run in the command prompt. And ls basically just lists the directory under the current directory, the download directory. Also on the left side, click the second icon, like a tree. You see here? And this is Git. Okay, so this is where allows you to clone source code from GitHub, and also allow you to push things back to GitHub. So this is very useful. This is something that I use daily, all the time, is to make changes and then upload to GitHub, and then push it back. So without using Git, you need to go to the web again to download all the time, to just download the zip file and then over and over again. It's not very efficient. So Git helps you download the file easily. And also on the left side, I want to show you what you need to do in order to be able to do coding. So there's another icon here. Look at this one, like application, like a rectangle, a square. And this here on the left side, this is why Visual Studio Code is so powerful, because you can install a lot of extensions. Basically, Visual Studio Code itself is just a text editor, but you can install extensions to make it really powerful, and you can write all kinds of languages. So one you need to install definitely is this one, Python. So on the search box here, just search Python and then hit enter. Usually it's show up on the first one. And if you have not installed it before, if you select on the right here, probably there's an install button. So just install it, and that means after that we can actually run Python code, execute Python code on your computer using Visual Studio Code. And look at this one. So downloads 95 million downloads. It's a lot. And this is one of the most popular plugin you want to use. and you can explore. You can try to see, for example, some there are only a couple extension one you need to use in this class, and for others you can just learn, or you can watch some videos online to see what people are using. But one I would recommend is the what's they called, GitHub CoPilot. Okay, and this one is useful, can increase your efficiency a lot. So GitHub CoPilot basically is an AI tool that help you write code, and then with auto completion. And this one, you need to sign up, activate your account using your student ID, your email. It's free for students and teachers. Otherwise, I think it's $10 or $15 per month. But right now, you can use it for free. So I would recommend either you're a new user, you're expensive user, use this one. It's going to help you. It's just like magic. Can help you auto complete, and you can write code much faster. So what you need to do, just maybe go to Google, GitHub CoPilot, and then students. Just search it, GitHub CoPilot, students. I'm not sure where you can activate it. How? Yeah. So for example here, how to enable GitHub CoPilot for free to students, and there should be a link that where you can go to. So yeah. So for example, the GitHub education, click the link, or you can just search GitHub education, and then you should be able to find it. Okay, it's education.github.com. Let me paste the URL here so easier. Let me put it here. It's not a tools needed, but I just put in under collab here. So GitHub education, so they can use it. Let's see here. Okay, and publish, and then you should be able to see the link if you don't want to use Google. Okay, so let me come back to here, and then join Global Campus. So you need to have a GitHub account. If you don't have an account, sign up. It should be just a couple seconds. Sign up using your email, using a UTK email. So otherwise, you might not. Yeah, not necessary. You can use your Gmail to sign up, and then you can use your EDU email to verify. But you can just sign up using your. If you already have an existing GitHub account, then follow these steps to verify. I think you need to upload your name, ID, whatever. Verify that you're a student, and after that, you should be able to use that. Otherwise, it's not free. It's like 10. I forgot how much. At least $10 per month. So it's a great service that can increase your coding efficiency. It will save you a lot of time without having to Google and trying to memorizing stuff. Okay, because I already have that. So right now I'm already verified as faculty, so I can use it for free. But make sure you sign it up, and then you can do that after today. It's fine. It's not urgent. It's just something that you might want to try out. And after you install, there should be when you are doing coding, at the lower right corner here, let me show you quickly. At the lower right corner, you see this icon, CoPilot. Right now it's an error, but let me come back to here, and let me open a txt file. And right now it's not activated yet, but I can show you, if I'm trying to write code, import OS. So right now I'm writing Python code. Okay, os.get dwd. Okay. So right now all the auto completion come from GitHub itself. You see, like if you type OS, import OS. We talk about more on Wednesday, but now just showing you like this is what it looks like. You can do some selection based on the auto completion here, but it's not enough. It's because you need to type. You still need to remember a lot of code. But with GitHub CoPilot, it will generate a lot more code that you don't have to write. So here, after you get an account, and then make sure that you have the GitHub CoPilot installed. So right now it's installed on my computer. And then lower right corner here, click this one, activate CoPilot and connect to the server. Your GitHub token is valid. We try here. Manage extension. I think I need to. It's my privilege here. So on the lower left corner. So here, lower left corner means you can sign into your GitHub account. So let me do this. So sign up for the GitHub account and then sign up for GitHub Copilot. Okay, and once you have that, you can come here to use your GitHub account to sign into Visual Studio Code. So in that way, all the extension that you install is tied to your account. So next time if you open your Visual Studio Code somewhere else, you automatically download all the extension. So kind of like just like iPhone, iCloud, your email ID, so that you can transferable. And so here, if I click on the lower left corner, and then I just connect this one to my GitHub account. First, maybe let me sign out and then just sign in again. So it will be sometimes if it doesn't work, you can sign out, and then I'm going to sign in. Sign in to SyncCloud, and then sign in with GitHub. So I recommend you use this one. Sign in with your GitHub, and then it's going to open up in the browser. Then you can just click. You can just log into your account, and then open Visual Studio Code, and just click open. It should be fine. And conflict, I'm going to replace local. Yours probably should be just fine. Okay, mine, because I have multiple computers account. Okay, so now if I come back to here, if you look at the lower right corner, now you see this icon, it's activated. So for you, if you have not have the account yet, you cannot use it right now. So you can try it after class. But I'm just trying to show you what it is. So at the lower right corner here, do you see this one? Deactivate Copilot. So that means right now it's already activated. But if you don't want to use it, you click it, it's going to deactivate. So with this, now I can see what kind of things you can do. I'm not quite sure. So for example, OS dot I'm not sure you can show up here. Sometimes you need to write a little bit more code to be able to do that. So I can maybe type import gmap. Do I have this example here? And is it still running? Gmap. Oh, I need to sign in. Okay. Anyway, so that's why it's not activated. So let me sign in again. Open. It's annoying. Sometimes you have to sign in multiple times. The first time signing was signing to your account to Visual Studio Code. So they synchronize all the extensions. And then once the extension is in there, you need to sign in. Then need to use Google Copilot. So you might have sometimes have to do that multiple times, but once it's done, it should work. Okay, so now this keep equals try again. Gmap.map. Okay. GeoCoPilot works best when you have a lot of source code, because it basically learn from your code and then you can auto complete a lot more. So I can maybe let me do it here. Let me grab some examples so that you can run much faster. So I'm going to go to maybe Git here, notebooks. You don't have to worry about right now. I'm just showing you how you can use that, but you can do it later on. So here I'm going to maybe just grab some source code. Basically, when you accumulate more source code, it's going to learn and then going to help you run for much faster. So here, and looks like still not activated. Otherwise, it should be auto complete now. Here. Output. Let me debug it. Yeah, it doesn't work right now. Let me see here. Let me deactivate it and activate again. It might be just the internet. Yeah, it's supposed to be connect. So here right now it's showing it doesn't connect. No worries. I will try it again next time just to show you. But if you install it successfully and then activate your account, when you write code, the more you write, the more it's going to learn. So just like basically just check GPT, but it's dedicated to your code, and it's very powerful. But right now for you guys, probably it's fine. You can use it, but in tech companies, if you're doing something very sensitive, you don't want to do that because it's basically learning from your code, and it might send your code somewhere else. Yeah, but there's nothing really sensitive in here. Right now, it's a beginner, but when you work for company, make sure you check the policy whether it's allowed or not. Some companies do not allow you to use this, although it helps you increase your efficiency, but it's going to be some privacy issue and might send your call to their server. So just be aware. And right now it's not working, so I'm not quite sure exactly. Anyway, that's fine. So here, so this is where you are doing coding, and so next I'm gonna show you how you change the environment. So by default, when you open Visual Studio Code and then you install Python, it's going to use the base Python. So probably coming from the computer or from the Conda based environment. So you can switch the Conda environment. What you can do here, if you open Visual Studio Code and then somewhere here, do you see that at the bottom? Can you see it? At the bottom here it says Python, and then the other one, do you have this? Or you need to open a Python file. So if you don't have any, just go to the Visual Studio Code. On the left side here, on the File Explorer, just right click, new file. So create any new file you want. So new file, and then I can just maybe a.py. So make sure that you have a Python script, okay? Whatever name you like, .py, and then it's open on the right here, okay? Is it working? And then low right corner here, you should see at the bottom here, you should see Python and then something else. It might be your base environment. What does it show you on your computer? At the bottom here, Python and then something. Do you see anything? No? Do you open a Python file? And there's nothing at the bottom here? Yeah, save it. Yeah, Control S. Control S. No, just you need to have a folder, something like that. On the left side, if you just open from somewhere, you need to basically see the file showing up on the left side. And then there's a Python file script. And then opening here. Nobody seeing this one at the bottom? How about you, Max? You see one? Yours? Okay. So you see it now? At the bottom here? So you should say Python something, whatever your 3 point something your environment. So if you click that, it should open this one. So it says select interpreter. So Python is basically you need to select an interpreter. Basically, it's the program used to interpret your Python languages. And so last lecture we talked about how to create a contact environment, and this is where you can use. So you can switch different environment you want, and it should show up somewhere here. All your environment. Probably for you guys, you should have the base environment, and if you create the GE, you should have the GE environment you created last time. So by default, it's usually the base environment, but in this case, for all the lectures going forward, you want to select the one we created. So G, otherwise the basic environment does not have all the packages we want. So if you just click G, then at the bottom here you say 3.10.12 G conda. So that means right now we have the environment, we have the Python script, and then we're going to use the environment that we created used to run the code. Okay, so basically you're specifying what program you want to run the code, and then you can start typing. For example, import gmap, okay, and then hit enter. Don't worry about it right now. I'm just going to show you 2 lines of code. We'll talk about more in the future. But so for example, import gmap and then hit enter, and then gmap dot maybe underscore version, okay, and then Control S. So what this one is doing is to import the library and then check the version. That's it. We haven't done anything with Google Sending yet. This is the most basic thing you can do in coding. So we are already writing Python code, and then so here right now we are using this conda environment that we created. If you use the basic environment, this is not going to work because the gmap package is not installed in the basic environment. And then after that, just upper right, left here, run, start debugging. If you click that, and then you can select the first option, Python file. Then it's going to run the code. So you're going to take a couple seconds, and this is where you actually write Python code and run Python code. And if you open the terminal, you're going to show you the output here. The first time you're running that, it might be a little bit slow because you need to load the packages, check the content environment. But next time when you run it, it should be much faster. I need to use the print, otherwise it's empty. So it's going to be print, and then parentheses, and then put the gmap underscore version in there. Control S. Okay, and then just click one. Start debugging again. So this time you should see the version number printed at the bottom here under the terminal. So the terminal basically print out all the outputs from your source code. So you can print as many things as you see. Do you see the version number here at the bottom? Right now it's 0.25.0. Anyone? So import gmap and then print gmap dot underscore version. Yes. Interpret. Oh, so for you guys, you cannot see this terminal in here activated. Can you type the command, for example, here under the terminal? Can you type conda and then just hit enter, see if it works? Type conda. Do you see any error? So you get error? Just type conda. So for the terminal, so if you're not seeing this terminal, go to the lower left corner here. Lower left corner, there's a button here. You see like this one, and if you click, it's open this tab at the bottom, and then click terminal. Then you can try it out here. Just type conda, hit enter, see if it works. So if it doesn't work, that means your conda is not registered with Visual Studio Code. Anyone getting errors? Let me see. So is it saying it's not? Yeah. The term conda is not. So that means it's not registered. So what you can do is like this. This is a bit annoying. I saw it's automatic register. So what you can do is to open your Windows settings, and then I think it's type environment variables, just type env on your operating system, and then click add system variables. So if you click this one, it should open here, and then click environment variables. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is to add the conda command into here. So under the, I think under the, you find the path, find the PAH path, and then double click. It should open up. So in here, see if you can find a conda somewhere. Let me see here, conda script. Yeah, so mine has this one. C users, my name, miniconda script. So if you don't have, let me show you here. You can find it on your computer. So go to your computer, and then under your files, then find users. Basically find your miniconda directory. So my name and then miniconda. Then go to scripts folder. Don't worry, you can watch the video later if you cannot follow. So I can also just stop my mobile office. I can show you how to do that. But essentially what you need to do is to find this directory under the users, your name, and then miniconda, then scripts. Can you find it? So what this one is doing, because the conda command actually is here, so the exe file is in under this directory. So when you type the conda or you type whatever command, it's going to look for the system directory, and anything else you specify in the path. If it's not there, this the conda is not working because it cannot find out where it is. Okay, so we are telling the computer, okay, to look for this room. For example, you're trying to find me in this building, right? And if you're not telling anybody, they just coming, they cannot see where is you. But you can say it's in 309. Then you're basically telling, okay, when you come in, you're trying to find some faculty, go to that room. So this is basically telling the computer. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one and then come to here. Then in here, you can just double click at the bottom and then Control V to paste this one. So next time when you type conda in Visual Studio Code, you should be able to find the conda script, and then you can activate it. Understand? Yes. So just paste this one and then click save. Okay. And then I already did it, so I'm just going to cancel it. So you just need to hit OK and save. Then just close Visual Studio Code and then open again. Then hopefully it works. So let me see here. If I open Visual Studio Code again. If it is not working, don't worry. I will show you step by step later after class. Okay. So here, now if you open again, it should load the command. So you see here right now is space, and then I can type conda. Is it working for you guys? Then I can just conda, for example, env list, conda list, conda install. You can do all the commands that we have been using in the previous lecture. Did anyone get it work? Still not working? Okay. Lab computer, for the lab computer, I'm not sure you can edit the admin right. But no worries. If it doesn't work, you can still, you can use open the anaconda prompt. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, so right now, if I type oops, here, conda. Okay, it's not recognized. So that means it's still not raised the env settings. This one, and then pass. Yeah, it's not there. So you need to basically do I just show you? Otherwise, it's not going to work. So it's going to be under the script folder, and then you just copy this one, Control C, and then come to here, and then paste, and then hit OK, 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 and then close it, and then open it again. VS, okay. Hopefully it will work. It works now. Yeah. So I tested. It's 100% works. Okay. So what you need to do, like I'm going to briefly go through again, is to basically when you are on the terminal, when you type any command, it's going to find the so-called system path. So if the program is not within the system path, it cannot find it. It doesn't know where it is, right? So for example, right now, talk about here, I'm just showing you. Here, I have the conda.exe here. So this is the program that's needed in order to run the command. So what you need to do is go to miniconda, your username, and then under the C directory, miniconda scripts. Okay, make sure that you go to this directory, and then Control C, copy. Then go to your system settings. Then come here on the left side, just type env. This is where you set environment variables. And click this one. Open up here at the bottom, environment variables. And then find this one, path. Under the system variables, path. And then just double click, open this up. And then you can click the button, new one. Then Control V to paste this one into the system path. I already did that in the past in here. If you see my here somewhere in the middle, okay. Then just click OK. Then close Visual Studio Code, open again. Then it should work, okay. And with that, it's going to be much easier because you don't have to open the terminal. So now under here, I can just control L. It's going to clear the console. So if you have anything complicated here, you can just Control L to clean up, and then I can just type command like now conda, right? Conda env list, right? Okay, you see the same thing here, and then conda activate, okay, GE. Okay, you see now on the left side you have the GE, and then I can run the script. So earlier we used the Python run and then start debugging, but you can do the same thing in here. You can run any script using the terminal. So what you need to do is just type Python, okay, and then so this Python script, what we did is for me is a.py. If you use a different name, you just type Python and then the name of your file. So it'll be a.py for me, and then just hit enter. I should get the same result. It should print out the version, right? Take a look. So this is the same idea in here. You can run script in multiple ways. You can also create a notebooks. So let me quickly show you. We do that on Friday. But in here, you can also create a new file. So I can say new file, and then just create the name. So I can say, for example, test. So IPYNB. So it's the file extension. Again, we cover more on Friday, but for now, just showing you that. So if you need to run Python script, it's either a .py or .ipynb. So ipynb represent IPython notebooks. So it's sometimes called Jupyter notebooks, and this is where you can run code interactively with source code and also output. So here I can do the same thing. I can say import gmap, and then Alt Enter, and by default, it's the first time you're running it, it's going to ask you to select the environment. Again, I'm going to select Python, and then select the G environment that I'm using, okay, because it has gmap already installed. Then I can just come here, gmap dot underscore version, and then I can Alt Enter. It's going to run the script. So this one is going to show you the result under the code block in here, rather than at the terminal. Okay. So for now, don't worry too much about that. You're going to use that all the time through the semester. So you'll be familiar with that. But for now, just showing you these are the two ways you can run Python script, and then you can start writing calling functions, import packages. But here, this is where you actually run terminal, and on the upper left corner here, this is where you can clone a Git directory. Again, we talked about this on Friday. Today we don't have time, but Git is a very important component. So I'm going to post, for example, I post all the source code on GitHub. You need to be able to pull the source code to your computer. You're not going to just go to the GitHub and then click download and then download, because every week we're going to have some new stuff. So you need to find a way to efficiently just type one command, you pull the stuff, and you don't have to manually download. So all the things can be done in command line. So if you know how to use that, your life will be much easier. So yeah, so that's what I want to cover today, and we only have 5 minutes, but I'm going to help each of you. So if you have any issues, I can help you resolve here. So make sure that your Visual Studio Code is up and running, so you can start doing some coding starting on Friday. Okay, so that's all for today, and